Proverbs 22:6 states, "Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not depart from it." Childhood is where a person's core identity and character is developed, where whose they are plays an important role in who they become, where experiences of the present shapes the futures ahead. While I am not a parent, I am certain that if I were to ask the parents here today, majority will say that this task is not easy. And the only way I can see it being fulfilled is by mum and dad working together with God at the center. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrada, and I'm a member of the Elim Pentecostal Church here in Brisbane. Today, in addition to briefly looking at the important roles that parents play in the lives of their children, I want to present to you some statistics and research that highlight the possible consequences facing children who grow up with one or both parents absent. If we were to ask the children here today, why are mum and dad so important to you? Many will answer with tangible things. They make me delicious food. They buy me clothes. They give me lots of love and affection. They drive me to see my friends. They take me on fun adventures. They look after me when I'm sick, and the list goes on and on. While these physical things are the easiest to see, parents also play a critical role in their children's psychological, cognitive, emotional, and moral development. Parents provide their children with safety and stability. Parents nurture their children with love and care, forming strong emotional bonds that have a profound positive impact on their development throughout life. Parents model and instill character traits and values that will help their children shine light, Jesus' light, into this world. Parents work together to balance the heavy load of life and its daily demands to meet the needs and wants of their children. This is definitely not an easy task to bear. So, what happens when one parent is missing? Globally, approximately 7% of children under the age of 18 live without both parents. This rate varies across the world differently. So if we were to just look at Australia, 15% of all families with children are single parent households. This means that roughly 1.2 million Australian families have a dad or mum missing from their household. Global research has shown that children with a completely absent parent are at greater risk of experiencing trauma that is manifested through poor self-concept, which is understanding of who they are, separation anxiety, feelings of worthlessness, emotional stress, and depression. Poor academic performance, often linked to financial hardships or reduced parental support, as well as a rise in behavioral management problems such as violence, substance abuse, and self-harm behaviors to release the tension from their emotional pains also occurs at a higher rate. These negative experiences in childhood are often transferred into lasting issues into adulthood. While the absence of one parent can increase the chances of negative childhood experiences, one could argue that having one loving and committed parent is better than having none, and that these risks can be greatly minimized if the present parent is willing and able to implement various strategies to assist their children to cope with adversity. But what happens when a child is separated not just from one, but both their parents? What happens when that separation is a result of the government removal with no clear or unwilling prospect of reunification? UNICEF estimates that worldwide, 1 in every 1,042 children are in residential care. As a protective intervention, governments may place children living in unsafe or high-risk home environments into out-of-home care. The goal of the foster care system is to temporarily remove the children from their biological homes and eventually reunite them when it is possible and safe to do so. It should come as no surprise, however, that removing children from their family of origin and placing them with total strangers has been associated with negative developmental, psychological, and behavioral consequences. The potential problems associated with growing up with one parent absent is greatly increased when children are separated from both parents. In fact, several American studies have shown that up to 80% of children in foster care have a serious behavioral or mental health problem that requires intervention. Furthermore, research from the Journal of Child and Family Studies has found that children in foster care are 2.5 times more likely to show behavioral and psychiatric problems than the general population. These findings support the argument that while some children may come into the system with existing trauma, the mental health concerns, the likelihood of these conditions developing or worsening in the foster care system is significantly high. Therefore, protecting the child from experiencing significant and prolonged harm is paramount and should be the main concern for all parties involved. While it is essential to recognize that the emotional effects of growing up in foster care are not universal and everyone's experience and resilience will differ, these effects can still be profound. Frequent moves and disruptions can make it difficult for children to secure attachments and to trust others. Children may experience greater emotional instability due to the trauma and loss that they have endured and suffer low self-esteem stemming from feelings of rejection or inadequacy. Instability, uncertainty, and lack of autonomy can lead to increased levels of anxiety and depression, which is worsened by multiple placements. This is concerning because placement instability is a global challenge within the foster care system, seeing as just in Australia, nearly half of the children in the foster care system for at least 12 months have experienced 3 or more placements. While foster care is necessary to protect children who are in high-risk homes, any intervention that has the potential to increase or prolong harm must be carefully scrutinized. The child's best interest must remain at the center of every decision made by the government agencies, particularly when there are parents willing and able to work with these agencies to provide a safe and stable home for their children. It is unacceptable to gamble with a child's future by merely hoping that they will not be part of the statistics. So, how does this all impact on why we are here today? As you all are aware, the daughters of the Samson family, Sarah and Tiana, were separated from their parents and each other by the Swedish authorities in December of 2022. Since this separation, both girls have exhibited signs of significant trauma and distress, with serious concerns being raised about their physical and emotional health. The statistics mentioned earlier in my speech are no longer just numbers on a page. They are the lived experiences of these 2 young girls who desperately wish to be reunited with their family. Sarah and Tiana are now 1 in every 1,042 children in foster care. Sarah and Tiana are now part of the 80% with behavioral and mental health problems that require intervention. It is one thing to act with the genuine intention of protecting children based on information believed to be true. It is another thing to refuse to act when the truth comes to light and to continue separating a family while stating the need for protection from religious extremism. In this case, Sarah and Tiana have 2 parents, Daniel and Bianca, who are willing to work with the Swedish authorities to bring about the reconciliation of their family. In fact, after completing a mandatory parenting training in June of 24, the 2-course therapist certified that both parents, both Daniel and Bianca, are fit and capable of parenting. Instead of fulfilling the intention of the foster care system, which is a temporary placement with the aim of returning the children when possible, the Swedish authorities have instead chosen to ignore the pleas of the Samson family, the outcries of the wider community, including the Romanian government, limited visitations to monthly visits, and have now indicated their intention to place Sarah and Tiana up for possible adoption. We are not here today to criticize the foster care system as an institution. We understand the need for the government to intervene when children are at risk of genuine abuse or neglect. However, if evidence no longer supports their original concern, if police investigations have found no evidence to substantiate allegations of abuse, if independent professionals have assessed that both parents are capable, then, and if every member of this family is desperately seeking reconciliation, then every reasonable effort must be made to reunite this family. The research on the effects of separation from one's family is too compelling to ignore. The best way to protect these two girls and ensure positive outcomes for their future is to restore them to their loving, stable, and safe family. Both girls want reunification. The parents want reunification. The wider community wants reunification. It is now time for the Swedish authorities to provide reunification. This is our call to action. Thank you.